All right, hi everyone. Welcome to today's segment. And in today's topic, we're going to talk about how to make $100,000 in 2022. Now, as I welcome the rest of you to come in, continue to ask any questions you have about creation, about like creating an online course as entrepreneur. Now, for me, in 2021, I would say it has been quite a interesting year. I've experienced quite a number of things. So, if you are hearing me and you can hear me, do let me know what questions you have. Do let me know how is your 2021 and what is your 2022 going to be. So today's topic is how to make $100,000 in 2022. And I'm talking about, of course, I'll not go to the specifics like example, do we like pay tax and things like that. But let's talk about making $100,000 in revenue, shall we? All right. Let's see. Do comment so that I can see the comments coming in. So I'm not alone. Hi. Hi, something about HR. Okay, glad to see you guys here. So I want to share with you guys, right? In fact, to make $100,000 is the same formula as making $10 or $100 or even $100 million. Now, of course, the effort you put in is slightly different, and I want to share with you, and I would like to ask you guys this question. Okay, hi Lucien, hi David. Okay, so let me ask you this: which one is easier? Is it A, to make $100,000, you sell a $10 item to 10,000 people? That's A. Or is it B, you sell a $100 item to 1,000 people? Or is it C, you sell a $1,000 item to 100 people? Which one do you think is the relatively easiest in your opinion? Can you please share with me? Okay, let's look at your comments. All right, I would love to mention your name, but if I pronounce it wrongly, please pardon me. Is it Shabesh, actress Sami? Do I call you Sami? Let me know how to pronounce your name. I feel very bad for pronouncing people's name wrongly as well. But really glad to have you guys here. Okay, so David says A. A means that he feels that it's easier to make a $10 item and then offer it to 10,000 people. Okay, let me see. Some of you say C, some of you say it's A. Now, let me share with you my personal opinion. Okay, Andrew say it's the same, correct? Now, it depends on your particular skills. I know you guys are going to know that I'm going to say depends, correct? So it depends on your skills. Now, obviously, if let's say your ability to find huge numbers of people is higher, so you're very good at lead generation, you're very good at maybe doing social media posting, and easily you can find 10,000, 100,000 people. Then obviously, if your key skills is to generate huge volume, you can sell a small item. Okay, you can sell a small item or small ticket item. However, if your skills in generating a lot of leads is not very strong, so for example, you just get started out in social media posting, or somehow you keep posting social media, you do not have followers, maybe you should aim for a higher ticket item with lesser people. Now, this is my own personal example and story. So, whatever I share with you guys, right, is really based on what I've already noticed. There isn't a totally right or wrong. Do let me know your experience as well. Now, the first time I ever got to learn how to sell something, it was actually selling on stage. It was in the 2010, 2011, around that area. It was because one of my friends actually asked me to conduct an investment class. I mean, for those who know me, you know that I've been investing for many years, and inevitably people ask me, "Hey, how do you invest?" And I love to share. The thing is, I never know how to sell. In fact, I have a negative feeling about selling. Any one of you guys got a negative feeling about selling? If you have that similar with me, so you can type me, right? So I want to share with you, right? Then what happened was, usually I conduct the class, and my first partner who asked me to conduct the class, he did the selling. So he was always selling on stage, talking about this program that I'm going to teach them. And he's a very good salesperson in my opinion, because wow, he's able to make it very exciting. Even when I hear him talking about the program I'm going to teach, right, I feel like wow, this is a very exciting program. I didn't even feel that my program was so exciting. So okay, Jin say you're not very maybe didn't have experience in selling or not very good. Well, for me that's the case. So eventually there was one day, this particular friend of mine, he couldn't actually do the presentation. He told me to do. So in front of a group of people, right? My course at that point in time, right, was actually selling for $3,000 for 3 days program. Some of you may have attended my program before. I do hope you all have learned something and have invested over the years, because if you have applied the strategy over these years, the market has gone up a lot. Okay. So what happened is this: for $3,000 program, right? wow, I was very excited to teach, but in order to sell people and tell people to sign up for my program, right, I felt very stressed. Okay, so I'm not sure how many of you will feel that kind of stress if you're supposed to pitch a $3,000 program. So I remember at that point in time, the first like time I did a presentation on my own, and eventually I told them I have this program. It's for $3,000. I tried to explain, and after I finished explaining, make a guess how many of them actually signed up. There was about 50 of them in the room. You all can make a guess how many people sign up. Now, eventually, right, most of them left the room. Left three of them. They talked to me some more. They say they'll think about it, and they have been thinking ever since. Okay, so nobody signed up. So I was thinking, wow, why is it that the other friend of mine can sell so well? It's the same program. Why is it I can't do it that well? So eventually I began to learn how to actually really talk about my program with more confidence. I realized that if I just present this as it is, if people want to sign up, they can sign up. If not, they will not sign up. So eventually, right, from zero, I begin to develop my skills in explaining my program. Okay, when you explain your program well, you show them the value. This is actually called selling, correct? The thing is, I don't really like to do hard selling. I do go and observe how people actually do selling, and there's a certain amount of times when I go into a certain room and people sell me something, right, it almost makes me feel like if I don't buy, there's a lot of pressure, and I don't really like that. So I don't like to impose that on people as well. So this is my own style, right? So you all also know all left. So I share with you something. Eventually, I begin to learn how to actually present in an authentic way. That's my own style, and a lot of people say that I tend to over teach because I feel that if I have your time, I rather teach you something, right? So eventually, from zero, people start to sign up. So in a room of 50, maybe one sign up, two sign up. Eventually, okay, I realized something. Your sales ability, right? Your sales ability is measured by a percentage. So for example, back then, I remember whenever I did a presentation, it was almost always about 5% closing. So if let's say there's 100 people in the room, 5 of them will sign up. Let's say there's 50 people in the room, about 2 people to 3 people will sign up. So it's about 5%. Now, eventually, I try to keep improving my sales ability in terms of explaining the thing well, letting people trust me, know that I'm not just to sell them there to sell them something. I actually want to actually provide a good service, correct? So eventually, from 5%, it went to 10% to 15%, and it got hit at the plateau about 20%. Now, what do you think? Is 20% a good closing rate? Of course, depends on what you're selling, correct? So my closing rate was around 20%, and eventually, right, I became a little bit, I would say, competitive, competing with myself. I said, hey, is it possible I can present in a way that beats 20%? So interestingly, right, I actually came out with a conclusion. I said, hey, maybe, right, maybe if I lower the price, my conversion will increase. Does it make sense, my friends? Because at that point in time, I realized there's an opportunity to put my program onto the government website where the government will actually subsidize the program. So the participant, instead of paying $3,000, all they need to do is to pay $300, which is 10% of the price, right? Now, does it make sense, my friends? If I lower the price, more people will buy. Does it make sense? If it makes sense, please help me type yes. So logically, it makes sense. From $3,000, in the end, if I do the same presentation, sell the same program, but people pay only 10% of the price, definitely the conversion will increase. But let me share with you a very interesting phenomenon. Because once we actually change the thing, right, to from 3,000 to $300, my closing percentage remains the same. Still 20% of the people sign up, no matter what I did. I've never like crossed like 50 to 100%. I say, well, it's a no-brainer now. Everybody will go. So I became very curious. I say, why is it? Why is it that I'm always stuck at 20%? Does it mean that my sales ability is tagged to a 20% mark and it doesn't matter the price? So I became very curious. And you know what I did? There was this particular big event, right? I decided, okay, since it's a new year, I'm going to raise my price from $3,000. This time, I'm going to sell it at $5,000. Can you all guess what happened? Did the percentage drop? Did less people buy? I mean, in terms of percentage, what do you think? Did less people buy, more people buy, or similar amount of people buy? What do you think? It was at a very, very big event, and all the other trainers, speakers, seminar sellers, right? They were selling about 2,000 plus, 3,000 plus. To me, I says, I'm just going to test it out. I'm going to just sell 5,000 plus. I'm going to value add some more things, add a bit of more coaching and things like that. But I'm going to price it. Mine is going to be the highest price. What do you all think? Interestingly, right, when I actually increased my price, I became the so-called the top speaker of that event because most people buy my program. That got me very, very like confused. Okay, frankly, I was confused. I say, why is it when the price increased, the percentage increased? It was very funny, correct? But eventually, after it stabilized, right, the percentage remains the same. So I realized that with my ability, I'm roughly about a 20% closing rate speaker, and it is not price dependent. It's not price dependent, but whether it is 5,000 or 300, it is usually the same. So now coming back to that question, right? I would like to actually ask you guys again. With this particular theory, if let's say you are a lousy salesperson, okay? Let's say I say that some of you guys maybe you're totally lousy. Maybe you're only a 1% closing rate seller. The good news is you can always improve. And improve, when I say improve, right, it doesn't mean you become more salesy, you know. It becomes actually you become better in presentation of presenting what your true value is and also crafting better value. Now, let's say you are 1% closer, meaning to say every 100 people who come and listen to your presentation, only one person will buy. Let me ask you this. How will it be easier for you to make the $100,000? Is it still selling $10 to 10,000 people, selling $100 to 1,000 people, or selling $1,000 item to 100 people? Is it A, B, or C? Assuming that your sales ability is not the best, is mediocre. In fact, right, guys, if your sales ability is lousier, your product should be higher price. You know why? Okay, by the way, when I say higher price, definitely it should be of higher value as well. So if you're because all you need to do, right, is to sort of convince. When I use the word convince, means it's like you're trying to do a sales, right? You just need to convince 100 people to buy your $1,000 item within a year. You know, that's where you make $100,000. So don't try to keep lowering price. Lowering price doesn't increase your conversion. This is what I find out. It really doesn't. Okay, what you need to do is to increase the value of your product and just find lesser people to buy it. Because to convince 10,000 people, right, you better be very good at selling. I realize this is not something that most of us are naturally trained in. So in order to hit 100,000, initially go with a high ticket item. Now, when I talk about high ticket item, you have to think about how to value add. So let me give you an example. Over the weekend, okay, by the way, uh, price it at 100K. Okay, well, I mean, there's no problem. You can price it at 100K, and the value you give is 200 or 300K. Do you get what I'm saying? You must be able to deliver. But let me share with you how you can do that. Because sometimes it takes one or two customers to actually buy into that high ticket, and then you will realize that people are willing to pay, and that's where you can convince yourself to actually like create a product like this. Now let me share with you a few things. I want to share with you all a few principles. The first thing that I learned is this. Do you know that there are actually a lot of rich people around? I don't know about you guys. I don't know what's your financial situation, but you must understand whatever your financial situation is does not reflect the financial situation of the people around you. Now, let me give you an example and let me explain to you why. Now, because I was training investing and I was actually, frankly, I mean, if I look back, is my investing really super good? Am I the best in the world? I will never dare to say that. But I do have certain amount of results. I tend to be more value based, the Buffett way. So I can share with you that even as I built along the years, right, I hit my seven figures, and I took almost like 10 years, 7 years to 10 years, right? There was one time, right? There's this particular gentleman. He asked me to ask me for some advice, okay? And he was from my church. Okay, if it sounds like you, please don't think that I'm sharing your story, because a lot of people do ask me for advice, and I do go out for coffee with them. So I share with you this very interesting scenario. Hey, hi Sophie. Hey, sorry, I've not been like on the internet much. I've been I'll catch up with you very very soon. So I should invite her. Okay, yeah. So later we can talk about Sophie. Hey Sophie, hang on a minute. By the way, if y'all don't know Sophie, right, she has the best keto plans and diets. Later I'll share a little bit more. I'll help you sell. Okay, but let me share with y'all something about this gentleman who actually met up with me for coffee. So he told me this thing. He told me that, right, he's very worried about his finances because he's going to retire soon, and he don't know whether he has enough money to retire. So I actually asked him, okay, how much do you think you need in order to survive every single month? So he told me, I've already paid for my house, my children already grow up. So probably every month, if I were just to survive, I think $1,000 is enough. So I said, okay, so every year you need $12,000 because you need to actually, you don't need to finance your house anyway. And then it's really like 1,000 is the bare minimum. Then I say, what about comfortable living? If you can just enjoy yourself, travel around, I mean, now cannot travel, but back then I say, really have a decent life, right? How much do you need? he said, frankly speaking, I'm not a big spender. Maybe I just need $2,000. Or maybe if I want to spend a bit more, 3,000. So I say, okay, about 36,000 a year, right? So I say, let's think of a plan how you can generate $36,000 every single year, so you don't need to actually worry anymore. So I asked him, if you don't mind telling me, right, how much money do you have to invest? And then he told me I have about $5 million. At that point in time, right, my brain suddenly burst. I said, ouch, my brain hurts. You got $5 million. You just need, let's say, $36,000 a year. Let's say you spend a lot. You spend $50,000 a year. Okay, you can live for 100 years and you're not finished spending that 5 million. Why are you worried? Okay, I can tell you, it's a true story. Yeah. So my brain suddenly felt very painful. I was sitting at the, I said, 5 million, what currency? It says Singapore dollars. I took out the calculator. I showed brother, don't mind I tell you, 5 million divided by 50 years, you realize you can live for very long or not? Then he looked at that and said, wow, I didn't know that. Suddenly I feel so much better. So I said, you don't need to do anything. I'm just going to be a spendthrift. Just, you have so much money and you, okay, so actually my point is this, my friends. So I can tell you, there are a lot of people around me, I realize they are way richer than me, and sometimes they don't even know it until you ask them to find out. Okay, so what do I mean by this? So example, when I tell you guys, hey guys, maybe you sell something that's $1,000, you sell something that's $10,000. Let's say you do a coaching for 1 year. Let's say you do a certain service for 1 year, right? Okay, later we talk about how to increase the value of the coaching and things like that. And then you say, wow, $10,000, who will pay? You are taking yourself as the benchmark. I have, okay, again, this is, again, if I say someone who sounds like you, it is not you, because a lot of people come and talk to me. There was this person, right? There's this gentleman. He paid for our coaching program for our investment, and our investment coaching program ranged from 5 figures to even 6 figures. Okay, so 5 figures, 6 figures. Initially, when my CEO designed this whole entire program, I was thinking, who will pay like a 5 figure to learn coaching? Because if you actually pay like 5 figure, let's say pay $50,000, $100,000 to learn investing from us, right? Then you need to have a lot more money to make it back, right? It makes sense, right? So I was thinking, like, no one in the right mind will pay this, right? But in the end, a lot of people sign up, a lot of people sign up. And when I met up with them, right, some of them, they are very new investors. So they told me, hey, Sean, I'm really very scared, like, this is the first time I'm investing. So how much should I set aside to invest? Then I say, okay, you can start a bit small. Then I say, how much money do you have to invest? Hey, no joke, this person tell me I have about $50 million. So I say, you take 1 million, go and play first. You know what I'm saying? So guys, again, okay, I never go and ask, hey, where you get the money from? My friends, my experience is this. I know that, for me, I come from a normal background. So when I grew up, my parents are like from the military, pretty okay to do, well to do. We have met people who are much poorer, and I realize there are a lot of people who are much richer and they don't flaunt it. They don't like drive very expensive cars and things like that. But there are a lot of people, especially in Singapore, there are people who can afford this and they are willing to pay, and they are very humble enough to pay you one. So sometimes, my friends, actually compared to them, suddenly I feel like, wow, I feel very poor. I'm not poor. Okay, I'm not poor. I'm happy where I am. But I want to tell you, there are people around who are willing to pay. It is just that you did not offer only. So when my CEO asked me to offer, I offered that. Wow, where do these people get all this money from? I'm not kidding you guys. I'm really not kidding you guys. So I don't blow up your brain. Okay, and I'm not kidding you guys. So sometimes you tell people, $5 million to them, it's like, when you offer a product and services, right, be explore offering different range. So you say, okay, I can offer $10 an ebook, I can offer $100 an e-course, I can offer 1,000 maybe a 3 days workshop, I can offer 10,000 a coaching program. All you need to do is to just offer. And when you offer, people want to buy, they buy. You don't have to twist their arm into buying, right? And make sure you can deliver. Now let me give you an example of how to actually like package a high ticket item. I do hope that all these are inspiring you guys. Hey, by the way, I'm also learning a lot, and I can tell you the world out there is so big. It's in a bell shape. It's in a bell shape. So there are some people who are really ultra rich, and then there are some people who are, okay, I wouldn't say I'm average. Probably I'm slightly above average. Okay, I should not say I'm average. I'm above average, but I came from an average background. So my world initially is like, hey, everybody where got money to do this kind of things. Okay, but I tell you, the world out there is so big. So now let me share with you. Over the weekend, there's this particular gentleman who told us that because I was conducting this creator of online course. Some of you may be there, so feel free to ask me questions about this. So I was actually listening to my head of COC, which is Bowen, talking to this gentleman. So this gentleman, right, he actually teach people how to compose music. Okay, so he said, I'm going to create a course on teaching people how to compose music. Reminds me of Benji. Benji also teach people how to compose music. So composing music, they were thinking, oh, maybe the cost is about $30 to $50 online cost. Well, I think if you benchmark it against the industry, probably it's about $30, $50 for online recorded course. For a live workshop, maybe you can charge $100 to $200. Now, is it possible? How is it possible? The question is this. So, okay, the thing is this, there are some of the students inside the program saying, oh, it is not possible, or people won't pay more than $10,000 or 5 figures or 4 figures to learn composing of music. They say people won't learn. So I actually told this, I actually told the student, I said, you don't judge so immediately. What you should ask is, how can I, okay, so the question is, how can I, in fact, I'm going to type this down. We must keep asking ourselves, how can I, okay? Instead of people won't. You say people won't, then people won't really, right? So again, I'm not trying to scold the students and things like that, but I'm trying to say, hey, you must ask yourself, how can I create my composing music program in a way that people are willing to pay 10,000? Okay, you must ask, how can I? And when you ask how can you, right, your initial thinking is, hey, cannot be lah. Nobody will pay so much to ask me to teach them to compose music. Well, let me ask you something. So I'm not a music composer. It's just that I begin to actually research around. I actually like look around, right? Is it possible to add so much value that people are willing to pay $10,000-$20,000 to get you to sit down with them, to actually teach them how to compose music, or even at the end, after you finish them, you compose a music for them? Now, in case you all didn't know, right, in businesses, people use music very powerfully. Example, some of the companies that use music, right, in a way that it actually triggers certain thoughts, is like McDonald's. Ba-da-da-da-da. Have you heard of this before? Do you think, right, the person who composes music for them, sit down with them, give them a consultation, right, is paid less than 10,000? I don't think so. I think they actually spend a lot of money to design this. And also, if you think about Netflix, correct? Netflix, what is the thing that trigger and you know there's Netflix? Before you, like, when you turn on Netflix, right, what happens? You have the the Netflix sound, correct? Now, I can tell you, right, melody and sound, right, when it rings in your head, right, the branding sticks a lot longer. Okay, so that's why this one maybe is not so much of music, but there are some brands, right, they purposely name their brand in a way that there's a melody, like M&M's, okay, M&M's chocolate, right? It actually rings in your mind. So all these, right, do you know that when you see something, right, you can forget it after a few seconds, but when you hear something that rings, right, it goes in your brain and bounce back and forth for much longer time than when you see it. So you can see now, again, I'm not a music composer, but let's say if I'm a music composer and I'm going to go to business owners and tell them that, guys, I have a music composing workshop and seminar telling you guys how your business, right, can use music to your advantage, increase more sales, increase your branding. Would you like me to actually show you how? And then through the webinar, at the end, you can offer your consultation, offer your services for $10,000. And maybe you can even work with the government to get it, what do you call it? Get it like Skills Futures or WSQ. There are many possibilities. Can you see the possibilities? So I can tell you, almost any topic, you must think, how can I value add to the point where people are willing to pay that much? And people are willing to pay that much because their ROI, the potential ROI, can be a lot higher. And sometimes you just offer. And I can tell you, some people will appreciate it. Some people already know, yeah, I think that my company lacks music. I need a thing. And maybe to package it, the 10,000 portion, you can even get a professional composer. Let's say you're not the best. You can hire a composer to compose the music at the end. You can hire a video crew to do an MTV for the company. Can you do all this? And let's say you offer, let's say 10,000, 20,000, and you take $8,000 to go and hire the MTV crew and do everything. Maybe your margin is not a lot, but you break the psychological barrier to say that people are willing to pay you a $10,000 or $20,000 fee, and you become a $10,000, $20,000 person. You know what I'm saying? You're worth that much. Okay. Again, obviously you don't sell fluff lah. I mean, if let's say there's nothing for you to offer, don't go and just jack up the price for some things. I've been to some stages when I see some speakers selling their name card, say, I'm going to sell, really, this one no joke. I think some of you may know who I'm talking about. I've been to National Achievers Congress. There's this particular speaker. He's a very interesting speaker. So for him, right, he talked about how powerful he is. He talked about like how much network he has. And at the end of the whole entire 1 hour webinar, usually we sell a program or a course, right? He actually take out his name card and say, I'm not going to sell you a course. Today I'm going to sell you my name card. I only got one name card. The person who buys it pays me $100,000. You have direct contact to me. Come to my house. We will talk. People rush to get a name card. I'm thinking, who in the right mind will pay $100,000 for their name card? People rush to get a name card. Only one person bought it, and then he said, "Okay, that's it. That's my job is done today. I just want to make $100,000." Guys, this kind of things is possible. Okay. Now he say, "Oh, but it's possible for him. It's not possible for me." Some of you may be thinking of that. Instead, it's possible for him. How can I do that as well? Ask yourself, how can I sell barbers? Okay, let me see. May I know if course is in Chinese any issue in marketing? Actually, definitely no. One of my co-trainer, Chris Chen, my head of technology, Chris Chen, his course is in Mandarin, and let me try to find his course. So in fact, I don't think any language is a barrier. Okay, let me just find. Continue to ask any questions you guys have. I do hope that this is something that is benefiting you. Chris Chen Jiahong. This guy's another genius. Okay. Okay, good. Let me just try to find his program. Then later we can talk about Sophie. So Sophie, I've been missing for a while due to too busy with quite a number of family issues. Hang on, AI. Okay, great.
美国的电脑科学家兼发明家 Ray Kurzweil 的预测，人工智能将会在2029年跟人类一样聪明，想要学会。
Okay, so this is Chris. Let me show you. So he got this program. Where's Chris? Okay, this is how Chris looks like. I mean, some of you may have seen him before, right? Christian. So this is his particular program. He actually used YouTube, mainly YouTube to market. Again, let me share the screen. So his program is called 超越 AI. In English, it's surpassing AI. Okay, in fact, the URL is surpassing AI. So his program, right, is in Mandarin, you can see, and it is $300. Okay, and he made more than $100,000 in 3 months. So it's highly possible. Another of my friend, let's see whether is it still a YouTuber. His name is called Shen Lin. His program is in Mandarin as well. What's this? Shen Lin. What YouTuber school? Let's see, is it still around? I think maybe he stopped publishing as well already. Okay. Where is it? Okay, is it here? Oh, okay. Some of you may know him now, right? Okay. Well, YouTuber school is a scam. Okay. Usually this is how they actually use it to market and things like that. But I can share with you Mandarin program, English program. I do not see there's any difference in which one is more difficult or easy to sell. In fact, well, there are people who speak Mandarin who wants to learn certain things. There are people who speak English who also want to learn certain things. So for me, I think it's both okay, correct? All right. So now coming back to actually Sophie, are you still here? $5 million can be, yeah. So I do hope that I can tell you the world out there is very, very big. It's very, very big. So you don't have to actually like limit yourself to say this cannot be done, that cannot be done. Now, when talking about keto, right, I want to tell you guys about this Sophie Cafe. These are not kidding you guys, man. I was blown away by it for the reason, right? Okay. You can go and visit Sophie Cafe Pizza. So her cafe, the pizza, the noodles is actually keto compliant. Meaning you say there's no sugar and low carbs. Okay. So if you actually go and search for Sophie's Cafe, right, that's where you can actually find things that you can eat, enjoy, and lose weight. Now, the thing is this, how do you actually make it a high ticket item? So it's very simple. Now, first of all, right, you must understand the clientele. So your clients, right, when they come here, obviously they want to actually have benefits from the keto diet, correct? And within your customer range, right, there are different types of customers. There are customers who just eat for fun. There are customers who eat seriously because of a few reasons. Number one, health reason. Number two, performance reason. Number three, for aesthetic reasons. Okay, so you must have a certain idea of how your clients are defined, and you must think about it: health reasons, aesthetic reasons, and also let's say performance reason. Performance, maybe they are sports people, right? Which group, right, are the group that will be willing to actually pay $10,000, $20,000 for a coaching, or even for like you go and prepare their meal personally, right? Do a meal plan, and then if let's say it's for performance, let's say for example sports people, I do have another example later, right? It's talking about a swimming coach. Swimming coach, typically, how much do you pay for swimming lessons? Anybody? Probably a few $100s, right? This swimming coach, right, is paid high thousands of dollars. Why? Because he's specialized. Okay, another keyword, right? He's specialized. He's specialized in teaching people how to swim in Ironman. So not just normal swimming, but to swim into sea and swim long distance. How to complete Ironman. He target this group, right? Because people who want to complete Ironman, they are super serious and they are willing to actually pay to sort of make sure they can complete it because it's one of their life dreams. You know what I'm saying? So same thing. If you talk about like cafe, talk about dieting, right? People who are, let's say, but it depends on your ability as well. If your ability to talk about health, let's say anyone who got health issue, you can do a certain like a meal plan for them, send let's say a meal to them every single day, and then add value add to talk about like this particular issue. Let's say you got diabetes or you got certain injury. What other things you can value add to make sure that this package, right, is not just about food. It's also about nutrition. It's also about sleeping. It's also about exercise. When you add and value add, right, you can easily increase the value. Of course, you must increase to the value to the point where people are willing to pay you a certain price. Now, when you talk about like, let's say cross 5 figures, right, very likely you got to add one more thing called exclusivity or limiters. So this $10,000 package or $20,000 package, right, every month, maybe you only serve 1 or 2%. But you think about it, if let's say every month, right, you find someone who can pay you $10,000, within 1 year, there's $120,000 already. Isn't that correct? So when you break the numbers into small numbers again, right, it becomes a lot simpler. Now, do you still have to do marketing? Do you still have to do sales pitch? The answer is still yes. But the very cool thing is this. The very cool thing is, again, let me remove this. The cool thing is, regardless of your marketing skills or your sales skills, right, when you have lesser people with to serve, correct, you can actually price a higher price and you still get $100,000 that you want. Okay, Ken? So let me see what questions you have. Is it better if we can speak more fluently when delivering the course, scripted videos? From my experience, right, when you speak more authentically, is better than fluently because what you perceive to be fluent may not be fluent to other people. Now, I just share with you all something. So when I was first invited to Taiwan and even China to give speeches, right, I'm the only, okay, especially Taiwan. I remember when I was invited to Taiwan in 2015, 2016. I think it should be 2015. First time there. I was so excited. Invited there. I was speaking alongside Robert Kiyosaki, Peng Jun, Sandy. So quite a number of speakers. I was the only one who could speak Mandarin. The rest of them use translator. And if you listen to the translator speak, right, they are definitely more fluent than me. Correct? So my Mandarin is pretty broken. But guess what? When I actually speak using my own personal way of speaking Mandarin, mixed with a little bit of English and tell them, oh, sorry, I cannot remember how to actually say this word. I was teaching investing. I'm like, oh, options. How do I say options in Mandarin? 选择权, 期权, 美股盈利, EPS. Okay, so all this I got to learn along the way. I wasn't the most fluent, but I think a lot of the students say, hey, wow, I'm so glad that a teacher who can actually speak normally to me rather than listening to the translator. Okay, so in my opinion, just be very authentic. Talk as if you're talking to a friend. I feel that it's a lot more better. Okay, definitely if you are very anxious, you're stammering all the way, you go and clock more stage mileage. Okay, Wei Jie, clock more stage mileage. And okay, one more thing, maybe I were to give you one way of thinking. I realize when you are nervous or anything, right, it's all in the mind. So how to speak in a way that you have authority, yet you are not arrogant. Okay, so this is a very funny way. Imagine you are speaking to little children. Okay, little children who you care about. Okay, you care about them, you want the best for them. So when you talk to them, right, you feel, hey, little children, let me tell you this. To invest, you need to do this. To do this, you need to actually everyday practice. Okay, so imagine you are like a teacher, really like a teacher, talking to young children. Obviously, when I'm talk to you guys, I know that you're not young children. I look at your face, you're all older than me. I'm just kidding. But the thing is this, when I position myself in a way I'm caring for young children, I don't feel that they are judging me. You know, young children, they don't have time to judge you. They are just there to quickly listen to you so that they can go and play. But the thing is this, with that kind of psychology, it's a lot easier. So you have the authority, yet you're not arrogant. Because let's say you're talking to some of your peers and all that, you want to feel like you have authority, right? You may talk down on them, you may start to argue with them, which I don't think the feeling is very good. So sometimes when I talk to you guys, I don't know whether you feel like you are young children. But I mean young children, but not that young. So I think about you guys as teenagers. So I still respect you guys. But at the same time, I know they have more experience in certain things. I just share my experience, okay? So this is what I do. Okay? You go practice. Okay? Now let me see the next question. How do we judge how much value, price our course worth precisely? Okay, this is a very good question. So what we do initially, right? Now, a very tempting thing to do, right, is to benchmark, and it's okay. When you first get started, right, go and find out a certain benchmark. But of course, let's say you are a music composer. Let's say, hey, nobody actually pay this kind of money, $10,000 one. So one thing you can do, okay, I will say depends on your where you get started lah. But one thing I personally like to do is this. I like to ask myself, how much would I like to be paid? Okay, so WK, how much would you like to be paid for your services? Okay, don't I mean we like to be paid 100 million also possible, right? But you try to lower to a point where you say, okay lah, let's aim for 10,000, 5 figure, right? 5 figure. Then you must ask yourself, what must I provide in order for someone to pay me $10,000 and it's still a very good deal for them? Does it make sense? So you set certain goals, especially if you're not a very good salesperson, try to package something with very high value. Then you don't need to sell so much, okay? If you're a very good salesperson, you sell $1 thing, sell to 1 million people, also $1 million, So you get what I'm saying, and it's relatively easier to serve lesser people. If you sell something for $10 to 10,000 people, I can tell you the kind of emails you get. They want to refund. They want to actually, how come they got a problem? A lot more servicing to do, and it's very hard to produce results for them because you're just solving very, I would say, surface things. But if let's say you tell yourself, I want to be priced at $10,000, my every day, one day I'm worth $10,000. So if one person wants to spend 8 hours with me or 10 hours with me, is 10,000. So you can break it down. 10 hours is 10,000. Every 1 hour is 1,000, correct? I can do a $10,000 thing for a 10 session. So maybe 1 year, 1 year, every month I coach the person one time, they pay me 10,000. But then you must think, okay, how can I make sure that 10,000 is worth it for them? In order for me to get the guy the certain result, maybe you need to outsource certain things. Maybe you're not very good at certain things yet. Let's say you talk about, let's say, example, the person want to lose weight, or let's say want to perform in Olympics, right? And you are a chef, so you're a nutritionist. You're very good in nutritionist, but for strength training, for weight training, you may not be the best. You want to find the best to partner you, and you say, hey, can I pay you $1,000 to coach the guy? You know what I'm saying? So take $1,000, ask the fitness person to coach the guy in fitness. Ask what else do you need? Let's say the person is like in running, ask another runner to coach him. So you take that $10,000, you can outsource, hire the best to train him, and you yourself provide what you do is the best. So this is a very counterintuitive thing. Instead of asking yourself how much should my value be priced at, you ask yourself how much do you want to be priced at, and then you go and create a value. This is a way of thinking. Obviously, there are many ways, like competitive benchmark, or maybe depends on the results you can give them. Okay, but not everything can be ROI. Let's say you are a marriage coach. How to get ROI, right? Now, can marriage coach be paid 10,000 or 20,000? Also can. But likely you are serving the ultra rich, people who know that if they go into divorce, they are going to lose millions of dollars. So myself, they pay you $10,000, save their marriage, and at the same time get back the spark in their marriage. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Okay. Will there be a saturated number of students per course? I probably need to understand your question a little bit more. When you talk, okay, I try to explain in a few ways, and you can continue to ask your question now. You're talking about like to make the course effective, should you limit the number of students? Is that what you're asking? No, of course it depends on your course, correct? So you know that if you go for Tony Robbins' course, his unlimited power within, okay, UPW, right? You can have 20,000 people at the stadium, and all of them feel very excited and connected and feel that there's value, correct? And each ticket is about $500 to even $1,000. Well, that can be done as well, correct? So when you talk about the saturation, right? Sometimes too little people, you cannot get that kind of power. Because unlimited power within, everybody shout yes, then 2% only yes, then a bit weird, but his whole entire program, the more people there is, the more feeling you have. So I mean, but if you talk about coaching, you talk about like individual, or you talk about mastermind, definitely if let's say people want to talk to you about their individual problem, it's very hard to put 100, 200 people there. So if let's say there's lesser people in the room, right, where you can coach them, then you have to really not shortchange yourself, charge higher. So sometimes like I go for individual coaching, right? It's very funny. Okay, I can tell you something quite funny also. Over the weekend, I actually also asked someone to help me do a service to say, hey, can you actually help me find out this thing and all that? And then the person tell me, hey, but my fees very high on it. I say, okay, what's your fees? Then the person tell me, my fees is $5,000, Then I say, okay, so I continue to talk, okay, $5,000. Then I say, when can you give me this and all that? They say, hey, $5,000. I say, yeah, here, 5,000. So how do you want me to pay you? Then the guy say 5,000. Then I say, hey, is it? Then I ask the person, I say, hey, you tell me $5,000. Is it you're trying to put a high price to scare me away? Because I'm willing to pay you. What's wrong with you? They say, really? You're willing to pay? They say I should have charged higher. So sometimes you don't know who you're talking to, or you don't know how because I value the person's value a lot more. Then the person say 5,000, I feel like, oh, so cheap. So I pay. Okay. So okay, again, don't shortchange yourself. Sometimes price a little bit higher. Then if nobody pay, then you say, okay lah, this year I give discount because of COVID. Okay, you can play around and test around. It's always testing and learning. Don't have that kind of mindset where, oh yo, I charge $5,000, nobody will pay me, my reputation goes down the drain. Everybody thinks I'm cheap from now on if I charge lower. Who is everybody? You think you conquer the whole world, man? You can't do that. You can test a bit here and there. Of course, obviously, if you want to charge lower or higher, you have to change the package a bit or add more value. Okay, so this is something that I want to share now. Okay. Okay, another question is like, is there saturation of the market? So far, I don't see saturation of the market. Yeah, okay, so whatever topic that we do, there is saturation of marketing. So apologize in advance. I want to say sorry to everybody who gets spammed a lot by my Facebook ads and my YouTube ads, because the algorithm, they are trying to actually make it better so don't keep spamming you. So if you see a lot of similar ads, right, it's because you indicate their interest, then everybody want to target you based on their interest. So you got to do a little bit more creative advertisement. But in terms of saturation of market, right, don't have. You know why? Every year, if you think about, let's say you want to talk about like training parents, young parents, every year, there are new young parents, Okay, you want to talk about, let's say, finding a new career, writing a resume. Every year, there's like don't know how many people graduating from school. How can it be saturated? There will always be evergreen and new people, You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm to say, Okay, so let me see. Focus on creating value or focus more on marketing. I'm not sure because without marketing, no one understand the value created. Now let me share with you this perspective, Wei When I think, right, it is not an either or kind of thing. When I say focus on value, right, it must be very valuable to you. So it's a skill set. It's a skill set. When it's very valuable to you, right, you are able to explain it like, hey, this thing, you don't buy, you're very quite stupid, those kind of things. So my program, is like the value so high, but you must create the value. You must the first person, right? Okay, the first customer you should have is yourself. Okay, you must create something that you yourself want to buy. Okay, so for example, let's say when I create an investment program, right, I created in a way I will want to buy when I first started, I don't know anything. You get what I'm saying? And I price it in a way that, wow, this kind of price is so cheap. Because when I first started investing, I can tell you, the amount of money I lost is crazy. The amount of money that I paid is a lot. So, wow, if investing for a few days costs like how much, and people will need to coach me for 1 year for that price, okay, so you must be your first customer, okay? And if you are your first customer, and you yourself are willing to pay yourself for that amount of money and think it's super cheap, right? It's very easy to market already. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you're already convinced. Then when you go and market at time, you bring that conviction and pass it to the other people. So selling and marketing, right, is all about transfer of belief. You believe it's so good, you say, hey, seriously, I can use this method and I make like millions. You don't learn, something wrong with you, So you see, when I have that kind of conviction, I tell you about it, right, you also can feel it one. The problem with marketing or hard selling, right, is actually they are not really convinced. So, okay, with all respect, there are some industry, they train salesperson how to sell, but they never actually convince them the product is good. So that's why the salesperson, they hard sell and they say, hey, go and sell this one. You know why? This one gives you the most commission. Then that's where they have to use all the pressure selling techniques, all the different. I mean, I'm not saying the tactics are not good, all the sales script, all the methods is good. But if you yourself, you're not convinced, you are just hard selling. If you are really convinced, right, you're just passing on your belief only. Okay, I do hope this help you guys. Okay, so let me see. Oh yeah, limit the number of students when I talk about, let's say, pricing. I'm not sure whether I'm still connecting to your comments. Okay, so will the popularity of the course wane off? Okay, depends on your program title and things like that, right? So if let's say you teach about something that is very, I will say hit and run. Okay, let me think about some trend. What are some trends? Or how to, okay, you say, how to become a popular influencer on Friendster. of course not popular anymore lah, correct? You know what I'm saying or not? Or what other kind of or how to write WordPress. Well, a bit dang, because people using Facebook already and things like that. Then obviously if your topic is, I wouldn't say there's any topic that can last forever lah, except for principles topic. But you talk principles topic, right? For example, you talk about Tony Robbins, awaken the giant within, or you talk about Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now, Rich Dad Poor Dad, right, is evergreen, is so for many years. Do you know why? Because he teach you principles. He never really teach you strategy. You realize that? But you can see that doesn't matter. So the thing is this: in order for you to reach the principal kind of status, right, you do need to start a strategy lah. So you need to have something tangible. Example, Robert Kiyosaki also talk about properties, talk about cash flow, positive cash on cash. This may or may not be suitable right now, or maybe in the US it doesn't work anymore. I'm not sure. But you see, he actually started with something very tangible first. So let's say if Kiyosaki tell you about his property thing, you may not think is interesting anymore. But he tell you about the principles of how to actually make wealth. You're interested. So same thing. Let's say we talk about how to become an influencer on Friendster. Let's say last time it's very popular. You all know what's Friendster or not? If you don't know, it's okay. Or how to become a influencer on Facebook. Then you do and do. Then so a lot of people come and learn Facebook marketing, learn how to be influencer. But after that, TikTok become more popular, Instagram become more popular. You can say that how to become a influencer, the principles of getting leads, the principles of marketing. So you can see Russell Brunson. You know who is Russell Brunson? Russell Brunson, right? He actually teach about ClickFunnels, right? So he teach about marketing. He teach about principles of collecting database and all that. Does he ever teach you Facebook marketing and things like that? Never teach one. You know why? Because he teach principles level. So even if his ClickFunnels nobody use anymore, he still can teach about marketing at the principles level. You get what I'm saying? So there are some topic maybe a passing phase. But once you get popular in a topic, it's okay one. You build it on. It's a first step, second step, third step. Okay, I do hope it helps. So, Boon Peng, Hobo. Okay, so any other questions you have for me? I do hope that this have been a useful session. Yeah, Russell teach you to create your own traffic. So I mean, in one of the programs that I attend, and he was talking, he say, I will not teach you Facebook ads. Do you know why? Because I don't even know how to do. You think I'm the one who go and click? He also don't know how to do. So he said, I want to teach you things that is evergreen, things that is based on things that will never change. Okay. So I do hope that you guys have learned something, and very importantly, so $100,000 in 2022, do learn how to, number one, create a higher ticket item. And I can share with you, it's a lot easier to hit your 100,000 if you have a higher ticket item. Aim for at least 4 figures, 4 figures, a few $1,000s. Then you just need 100 people in this whole year to actually be convinced to pay you $1,000. Then you make 100,000 already. If you charge 2,000, all you need is 50 people. You charge 3,000, all you need is 33 people. You know, so it's actually simpler to actually go for a higher ticket item, and then you just serve them with what you have. Okay, it is a lot simpler. Now, I want to say one more thing. When you do business, whether you sell $10 or you sell $100,000 or even $1, right, there will still be people who are unhappy. There will still be people who are happy. So it is you yourself being able to sleep well at night, knowing that, hey, I'm providing something that's 5,000 worth. Myself, I'm willing to pay 5,000. Now I'm offering it at 1,000. If people they are still unhappy, you know that just close the loop. Don't do business with them anymore. Okay, it's part and parcel of the game, So that's how you can become a 100,000 millionaire. Okay, happily. Okay, Ken. So okay, I do hope you have benefited. I'll see you guys next Monday to share with you guys more about how to become a creator, and look out for our videos and things like these few weeks. We have something exciting to share because end of this month, we have a conference, a create conference. It's called Game On 2022. We have very, very exciting keynote speakers, and we are also bringing charity organizations so that we can help more people. I feel that the world needs to actually learn how to help more people, because sometimes, right, let me share with you, if you feel that your problems are very big, right, when you go and help people, suddenly your problems becomes a lot smaller. So a fast way to become rich or to feel rich is to go and help people. Okay, so let's create together, more together, and also ask more questions, and we will actually forge towards 2022. All right, maybe before that, I still got one more question. Okay, Junki say you love my hairstyle. Thanks a lot. Okay, hang on. I asked this one first. How to reach more people to buy my course, right? Through which channel you think is the best? To me, right now, Facebook is the best. Facebook is the best, okay? So build up your Facebook content, join groups, tell them value add, and you must, okay, one more thing. You got to keep improving in your skills. So, example, you're teaching investing, make sure you continue to learn about investing, read books, attend other courses. If you're teaching about music, think about how to value add, think about how to create MTV, think about how to use TikTok. Value add. Learn, you increase your value, you got more value to add. Okay, Ken? All right. Good night, everybody. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye. Take care.